Hello, everyone, and welcome to 9 Inch Charge. And welcome, Tom.
Hello.
Today, we are going to talk about paint because recently Games Workshop have announced an expansion to their existing paint range. There's going to be 7 new washes, 25 new contrasts, some new spray paint, and we're going to talk about that and see what we think about them. But first, let's just talk about that teaser trailer that they dropped for it. So, Tom, what did you think of that teaser trailer?
I thought it was incredible. There's one particular bit in that trailer that got me going, and that was Gilliman igniting the Emperor's sword. I want to cut that, make a GIF, and have it on everything. PC loads up, sword loads up. Wake up in the morning, bam! Sword's waking up in the morning. Want that everywhere.
Yeah,
so
I
cool.
thought the trailer was super impressive. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's on the Warhammer community website, and it shows various models 3D rendered, going through like kind of grey, and then paint is like fired at them, almost like it's like come out of a bolt gun or off an arrow or something, and then they all sort of become colourful. And then, yeah, as Tom said, Gilliman ignites his blade, which made me think that maybe we were going to see some kind of new technical paint, some sort of fiery glow or something like that. But what we got, and the other thing I thought we might get possibly was new bottles, but we haven't got new bottles, but we do have a new paint range. Already, it's being called by some people in our group like the Skittles paint range or the Smarties paint range because they're
Yeah.
very, very bright colors mostly. So Tom and I are going to talk through what we think about them. So shall we start with the shades, Tom? We have spoken to some people who have used them.
Yes, we have.
So we have second or third hand experience. But what do you think about the new shades, Tom?
The new shades.
Don't tell me
Interesting.
you're going to be throwing shade on them.
I'm not going to throw any shade on them at all, but like I just use a whole lot of Agrax Earthshade like everybody else. So I don't know. I don't know really what to say. Like sometimes I
me,
play around with shades.
the first thing I noticed was it's smaller bottles.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I noticed. The second thing that I noticed is that there's a couple there. You've kind of got Croak Green and you've got Matari and Grime, and I wondered how different they are from something like Athonian Camo Shade just watered down, or Agrax Earthshade watered down, because they just seem to be lighter versions of that. And I know that you can do things, and there are people that paint models and they only use like 5 colors and this and that. But for me, it's quite simple for me to water down a wash. The one that really grabbed my attention and that I'll definitely be buying is the Soul Blight Grey, because it looks to do a similar job to the white contrast, but I find that the white contrast separates really, really badly, and you have to shake it loads and loads and loads and loads, and it doesn't. And then sometimes I apply it too thick, and it doesn't quite go how I want. So I'm really interested to try this shade over a white spray and see how that works. Apparently, as well, talking to, as I said, some people who have used it, these shades have got a new formula. That mean, sometimes when you use a shade and then in the recesses it dries white.
Yeah.
These don't do that. Even the
So I
white
just
one.
want to say, I think there is something in the article. Shade better. It's not just these shades that are going to have it. It's all of the shades are being. So you're still going to keep Ragrat, all of that good stuff,
Yeah.
but they're all just going to have a new formula, so they don't do that. And now we're losing the gloss shades as well.
That's interesting, because I quite liked the gloss shade. I used to use gloss Reichland Flesh Shade over gold sometimes.
Yeah. The
But then,
non-oil gloss and the Agrax gloss I've used quite a lot.
yeah, but then I suppose if you use those, like the normal one, I normally highlight and paint back up over the top of it anyway, so maybe I don't get the full advantage of it. Well, you could always use a clear gloss varnish if you wanted to afterwards, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe people just weren't using them so much. I mean, I did go through a phase of using them, and then I stopped. But yeah, very interested to try out that, especially that grey. Next up, there are 25 new contrast paints, which is absolutely loads. And what's cool about the article is that they have shown us every single one on how it looks on the model. And I think there are varying different kind of ranges of success in how they're photographed and how they show us. There's a couple of them, like I think Magmadroth Flame is one, and Imperial Fist Yellow is another, that on the models that they photographed, they don't pull as deep in the recesses as normal contrast paints look, and then as a result, in the picture they look a little bit flat. So I'm waiting to see what they look like up close and personal. But for me, although we were joking earlier and saying that they look like Skittles or Smarties, I'm really pleased to see some bright colours, because I find that Iyanden Yellow is actually a little bit orange for me, but I really like that you can paint yellow with contrast, because yellow is a bit of a pain to paint for me. So that they've got these new ones. I was looking at, they've got 3 bright yellows, and they are quite similar. They've got Imperial Fist, Bad Moon, and they've got Iron Jaws Yellow. I think I'm somewhere torn between Imperial Fist and Iron Jaws. I'll wait to see them, because those are the ones that pull a bit darker. They are just like Iyanden Yellow, but they just pop a bit more, which I thought was really cool. The other ones that grabbed me, there's one Pilar Glacier, and they painted a Lumineth Realm Lord with that, and he looks excellent. And the pooling for that is spot on. It's really good in the recesses, and it's really light on the top. And it's like I said, Glacial is really good. It would be good for ice things. It would be good for a Frostheart Phoenix. It would be good for all sorts of stuff.
I think they've done a tree revenant as well in it. So in the bottom of it, right near the bottom of the article, there's a load of different models they've done. For some reason, they've not showed it off. But I think there is a tree revenant in that, and that massive Saigon.
I'd like to see that over a silver. I think that would add a really cool effect, and I think you could then use that on things like the Idoneth Deepkin. Yeah, or sword. Yeah, that would be really cool. You were saying that you were really drawn to what was it called? Garak Sewer, which is what they painted that.
That looks sick. So I was thinking about that. I was like, with these contrast paints, could I do a really quick Orcs and Goblins army? And all of the metal panels in my Orcs and Goblins army would just be that. And then dabbed on, I'll probably come in and stipple some silver on, just to make it look a bit metallic-y. I think that would just be like, that'd be it. It just looks sick. Brilliant. It looks really rusty.
Look really good. That's such a cool idea, Tom. That's completely the opposite way that I do at silver, and then chip in with the rust. But you're exactly right. You could do that the opposite way, and it would look brilliant.
I was thinking that, and I was like, what other destruction forces could I do? Ogres? You see ogres with a lot of that metal in their 8th edition books, so that's another quickie.
Yeah, that's cool. So there are some options there that seem really good, actually. And lastly, they showed off some new rattle cans, and the first one that they showed off was the White Scar. And now they say it's almost sort of whiter than white. It's a true white. What I always used to think about White Scar is I kind of felt like I got a bit ripped off when I bought. What did I buy? I bought White Scar and I bought Grey Seer, and I sprayed 2 models. And it's a bit like that that meme that comes from The American Office, where Pam's got the 2 photos, and she's like, they're the same picture. They are pretty much identical. And when they said, Grey Seer is a new formula, it's really smooth, it's ideal for your contrast paint. Well, now I just contrast over White Scar because it's the same. So I'm really pleased that they've made like a brilliant white spray. And now we've also got the shade that goes with it, that brings it back and highlights it. So that's got me pretty excited. I really feel like that's one spray, a wash, and a highlight, and your white will look really good.
Yeah, I've tried a fair few white sprays, so I'll try this one. try this one.
The
But
only
I
thing,
usually use Halford's
yeah,
grey, Halford's white primer. That one's really good.
yeah. See, the thing I was just about to say is, I think a lot of people have kind of been burned by Games Workshop whites. They can never just get the formula right. They always get really claggy and they get really
Yeah.
thick, and they just don't. They just, for whatever reason, they've just never quite nailed it.
No, I don't know what it is. Even like the actual pot paints. I saw a really funny comment, and I don't usually like engage with Games Workshop Facebook stuff because everyone gets snarky. But someone was just like, "Oh, are you going to sell a pot of wine in liquid form?" So I was screaming.
I was thinking, like, if I buy this new spray, is it going to come out like shaving foam?
That's true.
But hopefully it'll be really good. So I'm quite excited by that. And then that means that I will actually have an actual white and then my grey sear.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I don't have anything white to paint at the moment, but these contrast paints are making me feel that way that I'd like to. So I think for me, I've already made a little bit of a shopping list. So I'm going to buy the new White Scar. I'm going to try out the Soul Black Grey, and I'm going to get the Iron Jaws Yellow, Pilar Glacier, and Garagax Sewer, and see how they work. And then any others that kind of take my fancy, I'll use as and when. But from what we understand from speaking to people who've used them, if you enjoy contrast paints and you like using contrast paints, these are a great addition, and people will keep using them.
Yeah, I agree. There's a load of.
I think for me, as I said, I was hoping for a technical paint. I love the technical paints. I think they are some of the best paints that Games Workshop do. I did wonder if perhaps they might do a color shift or do something a bit more radical than just expand the
Yeah.
current range. So I'm still hoping to see something like that in the future one day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the title wrote a check that this article hasn't cashed. Like
Yeah,
if it's a new era, surely you mean like you're replacing your entire range. You're doing an
yeah.
entire range, not here's 25 more paint.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think
just me
it
being
might be a
a
new
bit.
era for shades and washes. Like you said, they've got a new formula, but you're completely right
Yeah,
that they've oversold and under delivered, but what they have delivered does look useful and does look interesting. So I think it's a very solid release, but they've just went kind of overhyped it a bit, I suppose. But that's how you get people
yeah,
interested, isn't it? And we are interested, and
it
we are
is.
going to get some, and we are going to use them. But yeah, it would have been cool to see something kind of brand new. All right, I think that's everything. So let us know what you think. Will you be buying some? Are you impressed with the range? Do you think they look like Skittles? And also, it would be really cool to know what specific things you think they'd be useful for. So, like Tom talked about doing armor plating and stuff like that. If you've got any ideas, please share them so we can rip them off and copy them and use them in our own hobby. All right, thank you very much for
Cool.
watching, guys, and we will catch you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think. I do read every single comment. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you'd like to take the conversation even further, you can join the 9 Inch Charge Hobby Hangout group on Facebook. This is a place for us to come together as a community and encourage each other and chat about our hobby, and feel free to share your models, thoughts, ideas, or ask any questions that you may have. There's a link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find a link in the description to our Patreon page, or you could become a YouTube member. And you can also support the channel by using the affiliate link we have to Element Games. They have a really extensive hobby range. I'm sure you can find anything that you're looking for on there, and they also sell it at a discount to Games Workshop. And if you use the affiliate link, we get a small amount of commission back that we can use to put back into the channel. As ever, this has been 9 Inch Charge. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.